so long as like alchemy.
Thing I like about Draymond is he's the villain and he owns it. In fact, he thrives off it, right? Here's the rookie Dennis Smith Jr., the quickest two-footed leaper in the league. I think he's going to win the dunk comp. He's got some 360s waiting for us. This dude's got 360 with the wrist from 30, 1 of 4 on the night. But this would be no cakewalk. Dallas is very well coached, and they show a lot of effort. There's another one from Steph, but they would hit him on the boards, and then they still got this dude. Look at him with the saggy diaper jumper in Swaggy's face and still gets it to go. Still commanding a double team is Dirk Nowitzki, man. Dallas was successful playing slow for most of the first half, but as the defense ratcheted up, they got out in transition and Dallas couldn't keep up. Draymond with the extendo clip at the rim, but he would pick up another technical. It's just a matter of time, y'all. David West was the player of the game. KD in the corner. He had 4 threes as well. It was well distributed offensively, 5 players in double digits. Now, all year we've seen these outlet passes turn into turnovers, right? But know your opponent. Dallas with slow big men, we got them in transition, and that's why these passes were so effective. Steph had 8 assists on the night. Look at him abuse the big scoop and the harm for the and one, and then KD rocking on this dude, what's his name, Cleveland? Surprised he didn't get traded there today. And then it was the birthday boy, Klay Thompson, 18 points at 28 years of age. And Golden State does what they're supposed to do and dispose of Dallas at home. All right, so like many of you, we started off, it was like, here we go again. Here we go. It's like the USC dude, right? I'm going to start bringing y'all some MMA shit. Anyway. I've been getting off track lately, but I'm just getting more comfortable on camera and I'm starting to ramble. That's just how I am. So the first half, okay, let's just address this right now. First off, as a fan and as an aspiring member of the media, I need to kind of pace myself as well. I can't get worked up for all 82. Shit, man. I'm not a spring chicken no more. Your boy Alk needs to cool it off. People that know me personally already know I'm kind of high strung. But anyway, first half, it was like, dang, here we go again. Now, Dallas, Rick Carlisle, and I've brought this up before, is an elite coach. And before I get into schematically what Dallas was doing to us, let's just say that, and we heard this at the beginning of the season, right? The Warriors are approaching the season like the Spurs. The regular season, the number 1 seed is not important to them. And so if the theory holds true that they're pacing themselves and going easy into the All-Star break, they got a lot of discipline going half-ass, right? They really show discipline. Like, nope, not going to play that hard. Ain't going to do that. Because that's kind of what the first half was. But let's give Dallas some credit and Rick Carlisle some credit. Offensively, you're playing Yogi Ferrell and J.J. Barrera, who if you stacked on top of each other, they're still not as tall as Kevin Durant. So you're playing these 2 midget guards, and so we were getting fooled into the mismatch. Now Draymond would get one of them in the block, and Golden State offensively was like, oh, let's feed it to Draymond. And we all know Draymond's not an offensive post player, and that was fool's gold rather than attacking the big who was getting switched out on one of our guards. And that was playing right into Carlisle's hands, and that's in part why they kind of stayed alive. And then double teaming Dirk. So here's the big problem defensively. And what Carlisle really exploited. Golden State, and we talk about light years ahead and the league adapting, and this is going to be an ongoing theme with these videos and just the season, right? The league adapting to what Golden State does. So really, the Warriors were the first team with Draymond Green and the size of our guards, Livingston, Iguodala, we started switching everything. There could be no breakdowns in communication when you switch everything. So the concept was like the simple, but it was brilliant, right? And so now the league has adapted. And a coach like Rick Carlisle, he's like, oh, you're going to start switching everything. I'm going to run fake screens to get the switches that I want. And we've seen it now. The whole league does it. But Rick Carlisle abused the shit out of it tonight, right? As particularly with Dirk and with Steph Curry and Wes Matthews Jr. And so Steph Curry in particular, who he had a fine game. He had a good game. He had a lot of good passes, great outlet passes, and he was fine. But defensively, he's got to identify the fake screens and fight over them and don't switch. Because these quick switching screens, and Bob Fitzgerald, the telecast, he was all but trying to like knock the coaching staff. He knows he can't do that on the broadcast, but he was like, switching again. switching again, kind of indicating like, why are we switching this Steph Curry matchup every time? And it's a fake screen. Is why I call it a fake screen, is because there's no intent to use it. The only reason they come together to screen is to get the switch. And so with Steph, and when there's matchups like that, they've got to do a much better job and be dynamic and fight over the screen or fight under it and not switch and just get into these mismatches, because that's what allowed Powell to start eating on the offensive glass, because once there's a double and you double off down onto to Dirk or Wes Matthews, that opens up the rim, a rim run or an offensive rebound. And that was schematically what was happening. They flipped the switch in the second half. The bench unit came to play, man. David West has just become one of my favorite players. I hated him in New Orleans, and I think it was because he was attached to Chris Paul. You know, and he's always scowling. He's one of those guys, I think, that you dislike when he's against you, but you love when he's with you. And he had a monster game in 17 minutes, like, I don't know, he almost triple-doubled. The dude was just everywhere, tenacious. And where would the bench unit be without him this season? Because Iguodala, again, it's becoming alarming. There was a play where he could have really just taken it to Dirk under the rim. It would have been an easy dunk or an and one, and he like flared it out, and Draymond was left trying to bail the offense out. But the second unit really played well. Livingston had some pep in his step. McCaw, we've all heard now he's going to go to the G League to try to gain his confidence back. He was ultra aggressive, but the problem with McCaw and his drives is we all know he's not exactly a strong player. He's got to jump into the shot blockers. He tries to lean away, and he may have got away with that in high school and even at Nevada, but it's not going to happen with the athletes in the NBA. He's got to jump into them and finish, and he'll figure it out defensively. Shout out my guy Major Powers, you pointed out. I think I neglect to realize I've come to expect McCaw to be solid defensively, and he is. He is every night regardless of his offensive output. But, you know, the game cosmetically, it looks like we thumped him. It really wasn't the case until the end. They caught fire from three. KD started rocking on them, and, you know, it is what it is. But, again, an alarming start that probably wouldn't be so forgiving against a more talented opponent. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.